again. I've been asking you guys to share your thoughts, your opinions, your video requests, so I know what it is that you like to see. And one of you guys asked me if I could revisit project management. I'm not sure what Vlogmas number it was, but a couple of weeks ago I did this project management video where I tried to demonstrate, how you could break down all the things that need to get done for Christmas and do a little bit every day and work toward a big goal without feeling overwhelmed in the process. And I showed you guys how to kind of break it down in a non-overwhelming way. And someone asked me if I could share another example of using the strategy outside of Christmas. So the next big event that I have coming up for my family is we have birthday parties. Honestly, I'm not sure if we're going to do birthday parties this year, but I felt like a birthday party would be an excellent example of how to use the strategy to break it down and to not feel overwhelmed. So since this is live, I went ahead and kind of already did a lot of the steps. If you want to go through it in detail and see step by step, then please make sure that you go to the previous video where I talked about this, and it will be like slower and I'll show you each and every step. But this is going to be like the accelerated version, kind of sharing how I would approach a birthday party if I were using this system. So for those of you that are new, hello, my name is LaDay. Welcome to my channel, Love Always LaDay, where I just talk about tips, tricks, strategies, hacks for busy mamas, busy home managers, so that, we can feel a little less overwhelmed. I always tell you guys that I'm on the struggle boat too. There's no perfection or got life figured out over here. We're all in this together. But I do like to come and share what I have figured out. So without further ado, let's get started. So whenever you are wanting to do like a project planning system, like the one I'm going to show you, obviously we need to have a goal. So for today's purposes, our goal is going to be, we want to have this beautiful birthday party for our children, I guess, or whoever. Historically, I remember when my oldest son was 1 and I tried to throw a birthday party for him. I was so freaking overwhelmed by trying to pull that little thing together that I was just like, even up to this point, my children have not had a ton of birthday parties because just the thought of like coordinating all the stuff just gives me anxiety. Like it just feels like more work than fun. Like I know some people can do it, they can throw it off and it feels like a easy thing, but for me it didn't, and I don't think I was prepared for how much work it was. And if I would have been prepared, I definitely would have started way sooner than I did. So I'm just letting you guys know that when I started kind of like my system and I started using the principles of my system, I threw another birthday party and it kind of felt like a redemption story. Like I felt like redeemed because I'm like, yes, I can do this. And I actually have a video on my channel where I share with you guys, and I'll link all this after the video, where I share the process of me like creating a birthday party for my kids and just trying to do that in a non-overwhelming way. So the first thing that you want to do with this method is you want to think of what are the 4 categories that you need to reach your goal. If you're on this side, what are the 4 major stepping stones that you need to take to get from here to over here? I think it's really important to think in large categories, because what we typically try to do is we try to like think of these mile-long to-do lists, and it's really overwhelming for our brain. I think I've read somewhere our brains can only hold, I think I've read 5 to 7 pieces of information at one time before we start to feel like, kind of overwhelmed. So the person who created this method that inspired this method is Chelsea Joe from Systemize Your Life. And so she always recommends that you think in groups of 3 to 4. So if you're like, wait, I have more than 3 to 4 categories of things to do, the thing that I would suggest is seeing if you can think bigger, seeing if you can open up your category a little bit bigger. Like instead of saying pick a cake, maybe include it in a bigger category like desserts. Or if you have too many categories, instead of saying desserts, maybe the overarching category is food. So try to see how broadly you need to think about this so that you kind of narrow yourself down to 4 major categories. So for the purposes of this example, oh, by the way, everyone's categories are going to be different. Like everyone does different things at their parties. Everyone needs different things. Some people are just more extravagant than others. So just keep in mind that your list does not have to look exactly like mine. This is just an example. So for me, the categories that I did were food, decorations. I also did entertainment. And the last category for me was guest treatment. I just kind of made that category up. I ain't ever seen nothing like it. Another thing that can help you whenever you're trying to pick out your categories is to like go look at somebody else's list. Like, we don't have to think of this stuff from scratch. I know for me, I love saving me some bandwidth. I love saving me mental energy. So there's this list that I find, and it seems to be like #1 on Google. Like, every time I look at birthday party stuff, like, I see it, and it has tons of ideas to also help you double check yourself if you're not great with party planning and stuff like that, to make sure you're not missing something important. So refer to a list to kind of help you, and then once again, narrow down on your 4 categories. So these are the ones that I've done. All right, so under each category, you're going to think of 3 to 4 major stepping stones. And so the way that you approach this, once again, is going to be different for everyone. You know, if you know that you're not going to need a lot of food, maybe you can write the 4 things that you're going to need food-wise. Like, I don't know, maybe y'all keep it real simple. You're like, cake, tacos, we need drinks, and that's it. You know, keep it if that's how you want to do it. If yours is a little more complex, then you're going to need different categories. But these are the categories that I decided to go with. I decided to go with dessert. And in the dessert category, I'm including like the birthday cake and the things I need to do to get the cake. But I decided to put it all under one umbrella. For me, I need to think of dinner or lunch, depending on what time the party is. And then after that, I did a section for drinks. And then after that, I put like snacks. So if you have like little finger food snacks that people can have, you know, some people do like pretzels, chips and salsa, candy, whatever. Okay, and so you're going to do that for each of the categories. Once again, trying to keep it to 3 to 4 major themes within each category. So I've actually pre-filled this out, so I'm not going to do the other categories. I'll share in just a moment what I have, but you guys, so if you're watching the playback of this, pause the video and go ahead and think of 3 to 4 major stepping stones that you need to have in order to accomplish each section of the list. Okay? And then after you do that, then we're going to break this list down even further. So under desserts, if you were wanting to successfully order desserts for a party, what are the 3 to 4 major things that you need to see happen? So for me, I said pick a theme, which honestly, that probably wouldn't even really need to be a step, because you're probably just going to pick a theme one time, and then the theme is going to go across everything. But for me, I just said pick a theme, because it's the first thing that I'm planning out. And then I said, for dessert, I'm gonna write a menu. So what are the things that I think I wanna have at my party? Like, are we just gonna do cupcakes? Are we gonna do like cookies? Are we gonna do like fancy desserts? I'm gonna write down what are the things that I kind of think that I would like to see at the birthday party. I'm gonna make sure at some point I place an order, and I'm gonna make sure that there are arrangements for me to pick these desserts up. Whether I pick them up myself or the person who made them delivers them, I'm just gonna make sure that I know that and I have arrangements in place for that. And so those are the major milestones. So even within those milestones, we can write an even smaller to-do list. Once again, 3 to 4 items. But I would not recommend that you do that at this stage. That's just too overwhelming. I would stop here, and then at a future point of planning, we can build out these lists to even smaller lists, as granular as we need them, to not feel overwhelmed and to feel like we can take like little tiny bites at a time. So I would do this for all 4 of the categories here. 3 to 4 major milestones to make sure you have dinner. So it's probably going to be very similar. Pick the menu, place any orders that need to be made if we're doing catering, or writing a list of supplies or food that I need to buy if I'm cooking any. So being clear on that. And then also making sure that we order things like plates, napkins, cutlery. So I would say like making a list of like what do we need serving wise. So you'll just do that. There's going to be, let's see, 16 little mini categories, and you're going to write 3 to 4 steps under each one. So when you're done, this is what it's going to look like. let's see. I'm going to leave this here for just a second because I don't think it will be helpful for me to read this whole list. Actually, I will, just in case there's somebody who needs that help. But I'm going to leave this here so you can take a screenshot if you need to. So under desserts, we talked about that. For dinner, I said write menu, place order, pick up the food if I need to, or make sure that somebody's going to deliver it. Order plates, napkins, cutlery, any serving supplies that I feel like I need, just place an order for that. For drinks, I said pick 3 to 5 options. For your family, it might just be different. Girl, we just be doing Fanta and Sprite over here, but I know some people do like mixed drinks, lemonades, like all this fancy stuff. So if you're doing that, I would make sure to print recipes and add anything that I will need to make this successful to a master shopping list. For snacks, it's pretty much the same thing. For me, I don't have a lot of recipes and things that I already know. I know some people have like family favorites that they use year after year. I don't really have that yet. So I would need to take time to get inspiration. I would need to save the recipes if I'm cooking anything. I need to create a shopping list. And then for me, I even put like, I need to make sure that I have like serving platters and dishes and serving trays, like get ideas for that and make sure I have have that stuff ordered as well. And then for decorations, I decided to break the decorations down by like where they are or location. So I have table decor, so get inspiration, write a list of the items or supplies that I would need based off of the inspiration that I found. Write a shopping list, that's pretty much the same thing. And then place an order on Amazon, and then when the day came for the party, I would need to decorate. For wall, I put get inspo / write a list of all the things that I would need based on the inspiration. So really that's just looking at the picture and being like, okay, I see this little, like let's pretend we're talking about a table. Okay, I see that the table cloths are blue, so I'm gonna get a blue tablecloth. Okay, I see that they have like confetti, so I need to put confetti on my list. Okay, I see that they have like candles. There's about 3, so I'm gonna put 3 candles. So that's all. So that way you don't have to use your brain energy, especially if you're not good with decorating, you're not good with coordinating. I'm not. So I'd be using other people's ideas, and then I will just write down the list of what I see in that picture and what I don't have, and then that's how I know what I need to order. And I will save that picture so I can refer back to it later. And then I put it on the wall decor, make sure I have time to decorate. Balloons, get inspiration. So am I doing a balloon arch this year? Am I doing just inflatables? Whatever inspiration that I have, I'm gonna order supplies. For me, I like to create a balloon arch, so I'm gonna make sure I have a day to build that and then pick up inflatable balloons. I learned this the hard way. You gotta pick up inflatable balloons the day of, because if you pick them up the day before, they will like fall. I didn't know that. And then for cake table, get inspo, write a list based off of that inspiration, order supplies, and decorate. For entertainment, this is once again is one of those things that's going to be different for everyone. I put get inspo for me, like what games do we want to play. They have some fun YouTube videos where people will show you like games that you can play at parties if this is something you're not good at. And then also like what favors or what gifts do you want to get based off of, people who win. Once again, order those supplies. Make sure you have time set aside to assemble the goodie bags or the gift bags. And make sure you set time aside to prep the game if you need to do anything with that. For music, some of you guys are going to be hiring a DJ. I don't be doing all that. I will just go to YouTube and look for a playlist, and then I will make sure to save it. And then at the party, I will want to remember to start the music. Birthday attire. I put birthday attire here. This is not really the right category for it, but I didn't have anywhere else to put it, so I felt like this would be a good one. So once again, get inspo. Order anything that I need / hunt down whatever I have. Like if I have a dress already, we just need shoes. I need to make sure to hunt down the dress and order the shoes, And then if the kids need haircuts, make sure that I have that booked and ready. And then performers, some of you guys are going to be hiring face painters. Some of you guys are going to be hiring DJs, MCs, clowns. I usually don't do all that, but if you do, make sure you have a list and then get those called books. If you're going to be doing inflatables, you want to make sure you have time for that to be booked as well. And then for guest treatment, I said invitations. So I'm going to get inspo for like what I want those to look like. I'm going to design the invitations. When I did our birthday party, we did our invitations digitally. So we just made like a digital one and we emailed them and texted them to people. So That's going to be based on your preference, but make sure you adjust if you decide to do a paper one. Write the guest list and then send out the invitations for thank you cards. I said I'm going to delegate somebody to write down, you know, the gifts that people are bringing, and please write down their name and write down what they brought, so that will help me with sending thank you cards. I will design a virtual thank you card. I will personalize and send it. And then for seating, I said book tables and chairs. Some of you guys are going to be booking from a professional company. For me, this is going to be like call my cousins, call family, and be like, hey, can y'all bring, you know, a couple of something so we can have some extra seating, you know. But once again, adjust to what you need. I said decor inspo and list of supplies, but I kind of already did that over here. So that's kind of a duplicate, and I caught that later on. And then make sure to have time to decorate. And then the last thing is like gift bags. If you do that, finding inspo, creating a shopping list based off that inspo, ordering the supplies, and making sure that I create a day to assemble the gift bags, and then making sure that I remember to hand them out at the party. So that's pretty much, this is like the core of like what our game plan is. This is not everything. Remember, a lot of these steps can be broken down into further steps, but at this point, we don't want to overwhelm ourselves. We just want to have like a general game plan of like where we're going. So that brings us into phase 2. For me, if I were to throw a birthday party and I started planning for it in January, that would mean that I would have about 8 weeks to prepare for it. Like usually we do a birthday party for my boys in between their birthdays, because one is in February, one is in March. So I would probably have this birthday party at the end of February / early March. And so what you would need to do is think about how much time do I have, and how can I break this amount of time that I have into 4 phases. So obviously the more time that you have, the longer each phase will be. The later you wait to start planning, the shorter each phase will be, which means you'll be doing like the same amount of work with it, but in less time. But if I started at January and I was like on my stuff, that means each phase for me would be 2 weeks. So for 2 weeks, I would focus on certain things for my to-do list. For the next 2 weeks, I would focus on certain things for my to-do list, and so on and so on. So let me do it here first before I show you the major list, so I don't overwhelm you guys. So let's call this phase 1. And so remember, phase 1 for me is 2 weeks. We got phase 2. We got phase 3. Oh, wait. Let's do this instead. Sorry, guys. Live. Okay. Let's divide this into 4 sections. I usually like doing this on like a really large sheet of paper because your girl needs space, okay? But I'm trying to be cute for y'all today. And so this is phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4. All right, so what I usually do is I will go back to this to-do list that we just created, and each one of these subtasks need to be assigned to a phase. So for me, I just feel like there are things that naturally you want to do first. Anything that kind of goes along with planning, booking, anything that's very time sensitive and needs a lot of time to get set up, I would try to do that in the first or second phase, depending on how much time you have. Since I have like 2 months, I'm okay with spreading my planning between phase 1 and phase 2. But let's say that you decided to start planning and you only have a month. Anything that's planning, booking, reservations, anything like that will probably all need to be squeezed here into phase 1. And then there are things that will naturally go into phase 4. You know, anything that's like last minute, like ordering balloons, picking up the food, decorating, those things kind of feel like naturally they would go toward the end of this. So I'm just going to read through my to-do list that we just created, and I'm just going to kind of feel, there is no right or wrong answer here. I'm just going to kind of feel it out and decide which quadrant is the best. What you're going to notice is like some quadrants are going to start to fill up really fast, and then it's going to feel like, I don't know if I can get that much stuff done, you know, in just 2 weeks. So that's where, you know, you want to use a pencil with this and try to spread out your to-do list so that you can feel like what you're asking yourself to do in each phase is realistic. So I would just start at the top. I said for dessert, the first step is I need to pick a theme. So I would probably put that here. Pick a theme for the party. That's like the very first thing that needs to get done. The next, and then once I've done that and put it in the right place, I would strike it off and be like, okay, that's been addressed. Let's move on to the second point. Write the menu. So for me, once again, that's something I would probably want to do first because, you know, that the menu will affect so many other decisions that need to be made. So I will probably put that in quadrant 1 and strike that out. All right, place order. Since I have a whole 2 months, I'm gonna move place order to quadrant 2. So I would write that there, and then I would come to my checklist and strike that out and show that it's been accounted for. For desserts, pick it up. That's probably gonna be a quadrant 4 thing. So I would even go one step further because it's a birthday party. I would probably have things that I do before the birthday party, like directly before the birthday party, things that I do on the day of the party, things that I do kind of after the party. I would want to kind of notate those and make those kind of stand out. But I would probably put that, you know, picking up the food would probably be something that I would do the day of the party or the day before. So I would put that over there. And then once it's been accounted for, I'm going to come to my list and strike it off. So I'm going to go through this whole entire list and assign each task to a quadrant. When you're done, this is what it's going to look like, okay? You guys can see that I have the 4 phases of this project and that each phase has tasks associated with it. And so I don't know if this is easy for you guys to read, but I'm not going to read this whole list. It's too much for me to read, but maybe you can take a screenshot and kind of see how I would approach it. I will let you know just in general, week 1 and 2, the main emphasis on those are just inspiration. For the first 2 weeks, I would be all up on the Pinterest boards. I would be watching people's YouTube videos, and I would be getting ideas. I would be saving them in a special place so I can get back to them easily. And I would be writing lists based off of those ideas. So if I saw somebody's cute princess party decoration setup, I would be writing the list. Okay, I see she got the little unicorn balloon. I'm gonna order that on Amazon. Okay, I see she got the little pink tablecloth. I'm gonna order that. I see she got the purple ribbon. I would be just writing lists based off of all the things that I saw that felt visually appealing to me. And I would do that for the food. I would do that for the desserts, table inspo, table decor inspo, wall decor inspo, balloon arch inspo, all of it. And then for week 3 to 4, the primary focus for me would be making sure that all orders are placed. So just dinner orders, dessert orders. If I need to place Amazon orders, I would at least order half of the things that I need from Amazon within the second phase. So if I need supplies for table decor, wall decor, balloon arch, any of my whole tablescape layout, I'm getting as many orders in as I can. If I still need inspo for things, let's say, because I felt like this list was starting to get long, so I felt like there were some things that needed inspiration that were not as like important, so I rolled those over to phase 2. So I said here, getting the inspo for the games and the prizes, the goodie bags, like I feel comfortable doing all that stuff, you know, in the second half of January, knowing that this party is at the end of February, early March. So, and then if I need to place any orders for, you know, inflatables, performers, I honestly don't know how early you need to get those done because I've never done that before and I don't plan on doing that. But, you know, I hope that, let's see, 2, 4, 6 weeks out is good enough. If not, if you think that's pushing it, go ahead and go push that over here to 8 weeks out. And then for weeks 5 and 6, which is phase 3 for me, once again, just continuing to order stuff. If I need to order plates, cups, napkins, anything non-perishable, I'm putting that on my grocery list. You know, you don't have to wait till the last minute to order some soda and order a bag of chips or whatever. Well, yeah, you don't have to wait till the last minute, you know, to order some non-perishable stuff. So I would start getting all that stuff ordered. You know, if you got your little bubbly, your little grape, you know, bubbly stuff, I would get all that stuff ordered and stashed. You don't have to wait until the last minute. So that way you don't have to think about it anymore. If I haven't sent, or at this point, I would make sure to have appointments scheduled. I would make sure that those invitations are sent out. I don't know what the standard is for sending out invitations. I've heard that you don't want to send them out too early because then people forget about it. but then you don't want to send them out too late because then obviously people can't make arrangements. And I kind of feel like 4 weeks out is okay, but you do what's on your soul. Okay, you do what's on your soul. If your soul telling you to send them out at week 1 and 2, go ahead and do that. If you feel like it's okay with your friend group, I know my friend group. My friend group, you can't tell them too early or it's not gonna happen. You can't tell them too late, you can't tell them too early. Like, we be getting invitations like 2 weeks ahead of time. So I know my friend group. If we send them out like a month ahead of time, like, that's okay for us. But you know, you have to know what's okay for you. And then for week 7 and 8, these will be things that you're gonna do leading up to the party. So assembling, you know, the prizes for the games, assembling the gift bags or the care bags for the kids, and then here, you know, just a few days before the party, you would start decorating. I started decorating for our kids' birthday party like a full week. There was no surprises for these kids on the day of their birthday because I am not about to be doing all this stuff in the last minute. That's what messed me up the first time I had, you know, that party for my kids. I thought that you do all this stuff the day before. If you have help, go for it. But if you're the main person organizing this, you better start like a full week, full 5 to 7 days ahead of time. And that's what I did. My kids came home from school and they were like, birthday party? It's not my birthday. I don't care. I'm not about to be stressed out. And I had like 7 days and I was like, day 1, put the stuff on the wall. Day 2, I had like stuff on the ceiling that I need to hang up. Day 3, we started that balloon arch because I heard a balloon arch can last like a whole week. So we started that mess early. So I literally assigned like areas or things to work on for like the whole week. And then obviously you have things that you have to do the day of or the day before. So getting that on your calendar, like picking up the food, picking up the desserts, picking up the balloons. You know, you can delegate some of this stuff if you need to. Get the music popping because I didn't want to create that playlist, you know, just for it not to be used. And then making sure that you remember to hand out the care bags and then things that you'll do after the party. So if you need to personalize and send thank you notes so thank you notes and stuff like that. So the whole goal, once again, is to make sure that every item on this list is accounted for in the phases, okay? So the very last step of this is we're not gonna be focusing on this whole list at once. That is too overwhelming. We're gonna fold this sheet and we're just gonna focus on phase 1. I have 2 weeks to get these things done. How am I gonna make that happen? For me, looking at it like this is still overwhelming. So this is the point where I would bust out my Google Calendar, I would bust out my little planner, whatever, and I would just try to think about how can I space this out in a way that doesn't overwhelm me. So this is me and my first 2 weeks. I probably could have spaced this out even more to be less overwhelmed, but I just went ahead and said, I'm gonna focus on like 1 or 2 tasks per day. And then I have all this flex room because if, let's say, something doesn't work out and I need to push everything back a day, I still have like all these days where I can like get these tasks filled in. So ideally, I'm just looking at phase 1 on this list, and that's all I'm gonna look at for the first 2 weeks. I'm not even gonna look at none of this, just this. Ideally, on the first day, I said, here, I need to write the guest list. So I went ahead and took that from here and I put it on day 1. I said, write guest list. The next thing that I needed to do was pick a theme for the party. So I said, I could even do that on day 1. I feel like that's realistic. Picking a theme and writing a list of guests. Boom, done. I went back to my checklist and I said, okay, we need to have a dinner menu. I can already tell I'm gonna be tired on day 1 after writing the theme and the guest list. So I'm like, okay, let's go to day 2. Day 2, I'm gonna write the dinner menu and I'm gonna pick out the desserts that I want for the party. And that's it. That's all I'm doing on day 2. I can do that during a lunch break. That feels very realistic to me. If it didn't, I could even spread it out. I could say write dinner menu on day 2 and put desserts down here if I felt like that was too much. Okay. The next thing on here I said was pick 3 to 5 drinks and save the recipes. So I have here on day 3, that's drink day. I'm just gonna go and pick out the recipes if I'm doing like mixed drinks or something like that. And I'm gonna make sure to print those recipes or save them digitally so that I can get back to them. And then I don't even think I put here to write the list, the shopping list. That's probably what I would do though. I didn't put it on here. It's probably not needed if you start this early, but I would probably have like one big document and I would have a master shopping list based off of all this planning and inspiration. That would save me a step in the future, but you don't have to do that if you don't have time for it. Just get organized, just get it ready. And then I said get the snack inspiration. So that's day 4. I said get the snacks inspiration and save the recipes. And then here I said get table inspo and write list of supplies. So that's day 5. Go to Pinterest and figure out what you want your tables and stuff to look like. And then based off of what you see on the picture, write a list of supplies. Okay, they got the pink tablecloth. Boom. They got the glitter. Boom. They got the flowers. Okay, I can get some of those at Hobby Lobby. They got the cute bow on the back. Okay, I know where to get ribbon. You know, just make it simple. Keep it easy on yourself. You don't even I don't even do all that. I'm just saying if that's what you want to do, you know, you can keep it simple. And then just keep going down this list until every item on phase 1 has been booked on your calendar somewhere. And then this is all you're going to focus on each day. Just focus on your task of the day. And then when it's done, you're done with phase 1. If you want to be ambitious, go ahead and start phase 2, but I wouldn't. I would just chill for the rest of this. I don't want to be thinking about birthday parties every day in my life, you know, for the next 2 months. I would just chill after I got my first set of tasks done. And then once you're done with this and you move into phase 2, do the same thing. You have your list of stuff that you need to focus on. So make sure that every item on this checklist has a day where it can reasonably get done without overwhelming you. Okay? And then you just keep going down the list until you finish your checklist. So hopefully that was thorough enough. I know I kind of pre-filled it out because, you know, I didn't have time to sit here and write all this with you guys during a live video. But hopefully you get the gist of it. If not, I mentioned in my Christmas planning video, I went into it in more detail. Remember, everybody's lists are going to look different because everybody's going to do different stuff at their parties. For me, this is even too complicated for me. Like, I don't be doing all this stuff at my birthday parties. I just wanted to add a little bit more than what I would do to show you guys the possibilities. And then for some of you guys, you're not going to need as much inspiration as me because you already know, like, your family already has recipes that you guys do. You guys use the same decorations. You guys do the same thing every year, you know, or maybe you're not going to be decorating that intensely because it's just going to be a small family party. So just customize it and use it for yourself. But the most important thing is to start early and to treat these things like projects instead of like, oh, you know, I just prepared the day before. Like, you will shoot yourself in the foot. That's what happened to me. That's what like made me feel overwhelmed. And then when I did this for my son's birthday party, it still felt like a lot of work, but it felt doable, and I felt like proud of myself because I started early. So, you know, if you have less than 8 weeks to get this ready, it's still doable. Like, all you have to do is shorten your time frames. So you see here when I started at 8 weeks, I still had all this empty space. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, even if you don't have a full 8 weeks to get ready, it's still doable. That just means each day is going to be a little more work than what we laid out here, but it's still doable. Just sit down, write the plan, you know, have the approach, and then, you know, get started. Start early, start while it's small, and try to do a little bit each day. So anyway, I hope that this is helpful for you guys. Please like this video on your way out. That's a great way to support the channel. If you guys have any questions or topic ideas or anything that you would like me to review before the end of Vlogmas, you know, help your girl out with those video inspiration ideas. Drop your questions, or you can email me at lovealwaysladay@yahoo.com. And if you want to ask your question, you know, privately, please do so. And then I will try to get it covered before the end of Vlogmas. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye!